From Anshe Sfard Beth El Emeth Congregation, it's time to take 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Parshat Bo, Teach the Children Well. If you look in the Parsha, it's intriguing that 3 times the notion of teaching the children is not only mentioned, but it's emphasized. Number 1, when Hashem is talking to Moshe about the notion of the upcoming plague of ASBEE, the locust, he says, this plague is Laman Ulaman Tesaper Boznei Bincha Uven Bincha. This is in order to tell your children and your children's children all that which I did in Egypt, and you'll know that God is God. Part of the purpose of the plague seems to be to tell the children. It's strange. You're bringing plagues on another people, and the whole purpose is to tell your children all about it. That's why God is hardening Pharaoh's heart, so that you can tell your children. Later on, the notion of telling the children is emphasized over and again. 3 of the questions of the famous 4 questions from the Haggadah from Pesach are mentioned in this parsha. Ki yishalcha bincha, when your son will ask, you will tell him. V'amartem, and you will tell your children that this indeed is what happened. V'gadal bincha, ki yishalcha bincha. This is over and again. Purpose of the Exodus seems to be able to tell your children. This notion that telling your children is not merely a side mitzvah in the Torah, but rather is at the core of what the Torah is all about, is emphasized in that core piece of our entire liturgy, the Shema itself. The notion of teaching your children is not only mentioned, but emphasized in all the sections, the 4 sections of the Tefillin. It's emphasized in the Shema as well. Teaching your children. If we look in Tehillim in 2 places, chapters 71 and 78 in the Psalms, in 71, Ayin Aleph, it says in verse of 18, V'gam ad zikna v'seva Elokim al tazveni. It says, God, don't abandon me until the years of the hoary head, the years of older age. Don't abandon me. In other words, let me live to the long age. Why? Ad agid zroacha ledor l'chol yavo gvuratecha. You have to let me live long so I can tell the generations to come, the ones who are yet to come, all of your greatness. There's something special about a grandfather telling the grandson about all the things that were. Or in Tehillim Ayin Chet 78, Asher shamanu v'nedaim b'avarotenu sipru lanu. All the great things that our parents told us. Lo nechet mibneihem l'dor acharon misaprim tilot Hashem. We will not fail to tell our children for generation to the last generation, telling the greatness of God. The Torah Sam Yisrael, God placed Torah in Israel. Asher tzivat avotenu lo diam livneihem. God gave us a Torah to tell our children. Laman yedu dor acharon, so that the last generation, banim yivaldu, yakumu yisapru levehem, that the next generation will come and tell their children. And they shouldn't be like their forefathers who were rebellious and they did not follow God. So over and again, the Torah emphasizes that the very purpose of the Torah is not just for me to observe it myself, but rather to tell the next generation. Now, this idea can be a dangerous idea on the one hand, where we don't just do Jewish things in order to tell our children. We don't just do it so my son will have a bar mitzvah, so my son will continue Jewish continuity, but I do it for myself. But at the same time, there is a notion that in some way I'm doing it for the kids. It's not just for myself. There's a medrash known as Midrash Eliezer. He says, Lo asalanu HaKadosh Baruch Hu kol haniflos ha'elu. God did not do all these miracles, ela kedei lesapran ulachavotan midor el dor, only to tell them from generation to generation, citing this week's parsha, ulman tisaper, citing this verse from the beginning of the parsha as a proof. The Tilim Kuf Gimel, another sign, Yodia Drachal Moshe Livnei Yisrael Ilotav. He tells the ways of God to Moshe and to the Jewish people. He tells for all generations, because it says in this Medrash Rabbah, God did all the things in Egypt, Kadeshi Yisapru Yisrael Ilosav, so that we should tell our children. That's the whole purpose of it. It's not a side purpose, it is the main purpose. Now, a number of commentators, particularly Hasidic commentators, emphasize the notion that that the main part of the miracles was to tell all the generations. That was the whole purpose of these various miracles. Reb Tzadok puts it succinctly. He heard from Rabbeinu HaKadosh, from his Rabbi, the child is the depth of the heart of the father. In order for me to really get it, I need to tell it to my children. My children are an expression of the deepest roots of my heart. Or the Degel Melech Ephraim, known simply as the Degel. Another Hasidic writer says, through Yetzias Mitzrayim, we come to great clarity. That it's through children and grandchildren, there's a mystical secret that somehow it's through knowledge that we have children, the Deya, knowing one's wife. So through that knowledge, we come to children, and it's only through telling our children that we come to true knowledge, vidatem, kani Hashem, to know that God is God. Finally, the Sfas Emes, in his famous words, she'asibur Yetzias Mitzrayim mevidas. Telling the story to our children, it brings knowledge. I think it was Professor Heilman who once said that how do we keep fresh as Jews? How do we keep the Torah fresh in our own minds? It's the children. When I tell it again and again to the children, that makes it true yediyah, true knowledge. Knowledge is something you maintain. It's not something you read yesterday and you forget today. Knowledge is something you keep. And how do you keep it? You keep it when you tell it to the children. If something's important enough to convey to the next generation, to convey to the children and the children's children, then perhaps only then, is it real knowledge? Is it something you've really conveyed? We need to do the Torah, we need to follow the Torah for ourselves. In some ways, if we really believe it, it has to go to the children. If we go to shul, if we put on tefillin, if we wash our hands before bread, if we observe mitzvos in the Torah, we don't convey it to the children, and somehow we don't get it. Somehow we don't care enough about it. If we really care, we really know it, if we really get it, we need to convey it to the children, and somehow through that conveying itself, through that process of Jewish education, we ourselves become educated. Vidatem, kani Hashem. It's to tell the children, to tell the children, but the goal, vidatem, kani Hashem, the goal is for you to know that I am God. Ultimately, through our education of our children, we will come to know. Thank you for joining us here at the Anshe Sfard Beth Elameth congregation for our discussion of Parshat Bo. Welcome to look at our archives of previous Parshiot, and God willing, future Parshiot as well, and holidays. Thank you, Jason Lefkowitz, for making today's presentation possible. And join us again here at the Anshe Sfard Beth Elameth congregation here in Memphis, Tennessee. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein. To learn more, visit ASBEE.org.